back to the hello you all. Welcome back to the YouTube channel called Walk With Me. And I was just I was scrolling trying to look for a YouTube video, and I just saw this pop up, and I just wanted to speak on the subject from experience. The topic of this video is how to deal with intrusive thoughts. I'm pretty sure everyone has these. What is an intrusive thought? An intrusive thought is a thought that bothers you and you want to get rid of. This is what an intrusive thought is, and a lot of people battle with this. And that's what really causes a lot of people trouble, is their thoughts. They don't like that they can't control them, and that they kind of have their own way of doing whatever they want. And I just want to talk about the way to better deal with intrusive thoughts. And first thing I want to say is the way to deal with intrusive thoughts is the worst way is to try to get rid of them. By trying to get rid of an intrusive thought, you feed its cycle. So the first step is training yourself, because from here on, this whole time, you've probably been building up the bad habit of whenever the thought comes, you try to get rid of it, or you try to do something else, or you try to distract yourself from it. This is not the way to go about it. The way to go about it is to begin to understand it. Start to contemplate the intrusive thoughts. Ask yourself, what about this thought bothers me? Why? Why is it that when this thought comes, I'm bothered by it? Is it because this thought, do I think this thought means something about me? That's the problem. A lot of us, that's the problem, is that we're so identified with the thoughts as if they're ours, as if we put them there. Because I can ask you right now, are you the one causing that intrusive thought? Would you ever repeat a thought that causes you trouble? You wouldn't do it. It's simple as that. You wouldn't do that to yourself. So why do you keep taking ownership of these thoughts? They're not your thought, and this is to be seen through experience, not just not like a philosophical thing. It's more something that you have to see for yourself through experience. You have to start to find, what is the source of this thought? Where does this thought come from? What could be the source of this thought? Could it be an action I'm doing that's feeding this thought? What does this thought usually cause me to do? When this intrusive thought comes into my mind, do I usually try to get away and go do something? Whatever this intrusive thought is leading you to do, to try to get away from it, is the very thing you need to stop doing. So you don't need to stop the thought. You need to stop you trying to get away from the thought. And by doing this, you will see that the same intrusive thoughts come later, but they're no longer intrusive. They no longer bother you. Or maybe they do bother you, but they no longer bother you as much, because you now see a little bit more clearly that I didn't put this thought here. Why would I meddle around with it? It's not mine to try to get rid of. I didn't allow this thought in. This thought came, and it's trying to pressure me into doing something. And that's why, through understanding, that's how you overcome all fear, all worry, all stress. It's simply through understanding and not in trying to get rid of it. You don't try to get rid of these things that bother you. You try to understand them. And I promise you, through understanding it, which may take time, but through taking that time alone, man, that's the best thing you could do. And that's because it's so lost nowadays, the solitude, how important it is to be alone. It's almost weird to people when other people are alone all the time. It's like, why are you alone? What's wrong with you? Like it's weird almost, but it's not weird at all to be alone. You're just, like, what's weird about being by yourself? What's so odd about being just being you? What's wrong with that? Like, what's the problem with it? More, we should ask ourselves, why are we always trying to find company and be with somebody? Why is that the normal way? If we all can just start finding like a solitary point of view, like if we can all start building that time alone, the world would be beautiful. I promise you, because when you're with other people and you're around other people, It can give you this sense of comfort, and where you don't even try to work on yourself. But when you're alone all the time, you can see all your problems. Every problem, you can see them clearly. It's so clear that I have a lot of problems here. Like, this mind is really in trouble right now. And if I don't do something, and if I follow where this mind is going right now, then I'm going in a bad place because I've done bad things. So don't run from your thoughts. Don't run from the discomfort of them. Don't run from the fear. There's fear involved with this intrusive thought. That's what it usually is this thought comes and then fear comes with it. Then you're just trapped in a cycle. A lot of people trap themselves in these cycles for years, decades. Some go their whole life trapped in this cycle. And I just want to make this video to tell you, you don't have to keep repeating this loop that you're doing, this loop of these thoughts. You don't have to keep repeating this. You can break the cycle, but not by stopping the thought, because that's not in your control. Your control is in what you do and the actions you do. So say, I can't stop the thought, but what I can do is say, when this thought comes, I'm going to sit with it instead of try to run away from it. I'm going to sit right here with it. I'm going to repeatedly sit with it again and again and again and again and again. No matter how uncomfortable I get, no matter what comes across my vision, I sit with it again, and through sitting with it over and over and over and over, that's how you become to understand something. You do it over and over and over and over. It's like when you first started driving, it was pretty nerve-wracking. Like, and now it's just like, oh, this is nothing. You just smoothly moving through lanes and going to this lane and going from that lane to this lane. But at first, it seemed like a terrifying thing to drive all these cars around me and all that. But once you start driving, it's like, okay, this is not that bad. That's what you have to kind of do. Okay, it's scary with these thoughts. But once you start to sit there with them instead of trying to get away from them, okay, these thoughts are not actually that bad. It's my reaction to these intrusive thoughts that's the problem, not the thoughts themselves. So stop reacting and start reflecting on them. Reflecting instead of acting reflexively. Begin to act reflectively. Reflect on things. Reflect. Constantly reflect. And train. It's a training process. I'm going to keep mentioning that. Train your mind. It doesn't just happen overnight. You're training. When someone first starts playing basketball, they start training. They're not that good at first. But through constantly training and training and training, after 1 year, they get a little better. After 2 years, they get a little better. By 9 to 10 years, they've almost mastered it. It's natural to them. It's second nature to them. It's not even a thought involved in it anymore. This is just what they do. So that's what this process is. It's finding that rhythm. Finding that rhythm with yourself, not with others. Finding that rhythm with yourself and your mind. Beginning to understand it. Finding that rhythm to create that freedom to understand everything that's in front of you, so that you no longer have to run from anything. Everything is seen clearly. No matter if it disturbs you or not, you see it clearly, so it's no reason to run. Once you see things clearly, you realize, where am I going? Like, ask yourself, where am I going? What's up with all this running away? Where am I running to? When you start to realize there's actually really no place to run to, there's just this body you have and this mind you have, and there's no way out of it. It can be uncomfortable to realize, but it can be freeing at the same time, because you start to realize, even if I try to run away, even if, like, all these actions of me trying to run away are pointless, because I can never truly get away from this situation. I'm here and I'm in this, and I'm gonna figure this out. That's how you have to, I'm here. When you start to, that's what it means. People say, let go, give up. That's real. Letting go and giving up comes when you realize that there's nowhere to go. I want to tell you that there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere for you to go. You can't hide from this mind. This mind is there. You can't pick this mind up and move it, because there's no physical aspect to it. It's just something that's there. We all have this mind. And it's there, and it's through not understanding this mind. This is what causes all of our trouble. We don't understand it. Because if we did understand it, we wouldn't be scared. You wouldn't have fear if you understood. So I hope that everyone can break out of these cycles and begin to explore their mind in ways that they never knew were possible. Begin to find a peace that they never knew was there. Begin to find a resting place that they never had before. Begin to build a strength that was unknowable before. Begin to break away from this weak cycle that this culture has embedded into our minds. We've been embedded with weakness. We've been embedded with weakness in our minds so strongly we don't realize it. We've been embedded. Our mind has been sown seeds that are horrible for it. We've been told that you have to find a relationship to be happy, that you have to have money to be happy, that you have to have this, that, this. Why do we have to have so many things to be happy? Why is that even believed by a lot of us, that if I have a lot of money, I'll then be happy? Why do we think that getting things is going to bring us happiness? And every time we get something, we want something new after. It's never an end to this getting more and more and more. It's greed, and greed is taking over, and greed has to be stopped. Go the opposite direction of getting more and say, I'll be content with nothing. Not that, okay, I'll be content when I get a lot of money. Because is that really contentment? If you have to have a lot of money to be content, are you really content? Because that money can be taken away in an instant. In reality, this stuff is just, it's nothing. It's dust. This whole existence, this life that we're in right now is dust. It'll turn into dust and it'll fall away like it never was there before. This body that we're walking in, it'll turn into dust and return right to the soil that it belongs to. It's not ours to keep. Death reminds us every second that this body is not ours to keep. These things in this world are not ours to keep. They're not ours to hold on to. They're not gonna saturate you, and they can't bring you peace and happiness because they're gonna pass away like it never was before. In the Bible it says everything has been done under the sun already. The sun has risen, the moon has came, people have gotten rich, people have done this and that and that. It says what hasn't been done under the sun? What hasn't been done under the sun? Everything's been done already. There's no more to keep here. There's no more to hold on to here. It's time for us to go beyond this life. Develop a faith. Develop some strength, some wisdom. Because wisdom can't be taken away. Wisdom is eternal. Wisdom is always true. It's true no matter where you are, no matter who you are. Wisdom is true. These passing desires, these fleeting pleasures, where would they be? Can they face death? None of these things can face death, but wisdom can face death with a grin on his face. That's all I want to say. Y'all have a good one.